Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is our last day of our journey, Yoga for Beginners. Thank you so much for sticking until the end. Today is going to be a little bit of a longer practice because we're going to use everything that we learned from day one all the way through day six and apply in one single practice all together. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to do that. There's a lot more classes to come, and I'm excited to be here with you. Anyway, let's hop on the mat and we're gonna get started today in a seated position. Start by connecting as always with the breath. You can choose if you want to sit with your legs crossed. Remember, you can always elevate your seat by sitting on a blanket or on a pillow, on a yoga block, on books, whatever you have handy in there, if that feels too much, or even on a chair, okay? And choose if you want to close your eyes or simply start to soften your gaze. And arrive on your practice. The next time you inhale, bring your arms out to your sides and start to bring both of your arms and hands up to the sky. When you exhale, let your arms descend, hands come down and touch whatever surface you're sitting on. Take a breath in, arms reach up. With your breath out, the arms descend. Simple and easy. Earth, sky, pranayama. When you inhale, you reach your arms up to the sky and you really feel and acknowledge the earth beneath you. And then exhale, let your hands come down as you really feel, notice, and acknowledge all the sky and the space above your head. Keep going just like that, using your inhalations to raise the arms. The exhalation so the arms can lower back down. Twice more, just like that. Simple breath in and out the nose. Last round of inhalation, reaching up. And exhalation, reaching down. Bring your palms connected in front of your heart. And set an intention for your practice. Perhaps you want to bring a sense of gratitude that you arrived here on your last day of this journey, or anything else that is resonating on your heart right now. And then you can release your hands, blink your eyes open, and let's come into all fours, tabletop position. So coming onto your hands and knees. As always, when our hands are planted down on the mat, we want to make sure that we have a really good foundation of the fingers. So spread them as wide as you can. Feel your finger pads and the four corners of your hands really pressing down into the earth. And then take a look at your knees. Make sure that you have a stance that gives you both stability and freedom to be here at this moment. And then let's start with the extension and flexion of the spine. So inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together, look forward and up. Let your belly be soft and point your tailbone up to the sky. With the exhalation, the sitting bones wants to ground down into the earth. You press your belly button into the spine, tuck the chin into the chest, crown of the head down. And then keep going just like that for 3 more rounds. Inhale, open up the front body. And then exhale, open up the backside body. Inhale, feel the broadening of the collarbones as you stick the tail up. And then exhale, curl yourself all the way into. Inhale, open up. Exhale, close it in. And then pause back in your tabletop position. Keep pressing through your finger pads. Tuck your toes underneath you. And then start to send your hips up and back to the sky for your first downward facing dog. In here, give yourself a moment to look at your hands, making sure that your index fingers are pointing either forward to the top of the mat or slightly out to the sides. And then give yourself a micro bend on your knees, or even bend quite a lot like me. It really helps to free the space on the spine. And then if your heels are trying to touch the ground, remember that's not really necessary in here. We're trying to cultivate space on the spine, not necessarily on the hamstrings right now. So let your heels come away from the floor a little bit. Your head rests down. And then you take 2 breaths in here. Being really compassionate with yourself, with your journey. And then inhale, look forward in between your hands. Exhale, start to take baby steps to the top of the mat. Remember our last class when we did forward folds, the hinge in here must happen from your hips. So bend your knees a lot so that your belly can rest onto your thighs. Relax your arms. And then flip your palms towards your face. Let your hands rest down onto the mat so that you find a little bit of relief for your wrists. Feet is at least hip width distance apart or even wider. And then inhale, bring your hands onto your shins or thighs, rise into a halfway lift. That means you have a very long spine. You're growing long in both directions. Crown of the head forward, tailbone backwards. Exhale, forward fold. Root to rise, all the way up to stand. Rise, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands come right down onto your heart. Now open your feet as wide as your mat. Your toes are going to go in a diagonal in different directions. And from here, we're going to start to lower down in a malasana, in a yogi squat. So your arms can be forward in front of you for more counterbalance, or perhaps hands come into your heart. But we're going to start bending the knees and start to lower yourself down. I sometimes like to have my hands even on my thighs to kind of help me like bounce my way down. And remember in here, there's no like a certain limit for you that you should be. You shouldn't be low. You shouldn't be up high. You should be wherever your body is telling you that you can be at this moment. So be compassionate with yourself. Listen to the cues that your body is giving to you. But once you find your malasana squat that will probably look different than mine, your arms can go once again in front, into the heart. Maybe if you have books or blocks you can use for support underneath your hands. But here we stay for 2 breaths. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Last breath. Notice if your knees are trying to fall in inwards. Open them wide to the sides. And then plant your hands down onto the mat. Step your feet back. Find your plank pose. Remember, you can always have your knees down. Pressing down through the hands, puff your upper back. Take a breath in. And then exhale, lean forward. Squeeze your elbows in as you pull down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, we're going for Cobra. So point your toes, press the tops of the feet down. Inhale, roll your shoulders up, back, and down, and rise any amount. Bhujangasana is the name of the shape in Sanskrit. And with the next time you exhale, tuck your toes, press yourself up and back. Child's pose with the toes tucked under. Your forehead can come down to your mat. If you have a yoga block, maybe that block is going to go underneath your forehead. But in here, you take 2 breaths. Steady and slow. Let it be deep. Let it nourish you. The next time you inhale, start to roll yourself back and forward to your tabletop position. Restack your knee underneath your hips. And then from here, simple transition. We're going to step your right foot on the outside of your right hand. Start to scoop your back knee back just a little bit more. If your knees are sensitive in here, I always like the trick to kind of like fold my mat. That will give you some extra cushion for your knee joint. And then planting your left hand firmly down on the mat, take a breath in and then reach your right arm up to the sky and find your lizard lunge twist. Let both of your shoulders go back onto your backside body and then send the back of your throat back a little bit more. The back of your ears go back a little bit more so that you can feel the heart and the chest opening. And then if your back toes are not tucked yet, you're going to tuck them now. And then get very clear and strong onto your left leg so that your back knee can come away from the mat. Lift yourself up a little bit. Take 1 more breath in. And then exhale, lower down your hand, lower down your knee, step your foot back to your tabletop position. Right away, we go to the opposite side. So then take a breath in, step your left foot on the outside of your hand. Remember to scoop your back knee back just a little bit more. And then use the next inhalation to lift now your left arm all the way up to the sky. Let your hips be heavy in here. Feel the connection of your feet, of your knee with the earth. Use that as a base so that you can grow taller and rise through the chest and hips. There we go. The next time you inhale, back toes are going to tuck under if they're not there yet. And then you're going to start to lift that back knee away from the mat. This is really hard, so if you're struggling, good, that's a good thing. You're practicing a new skill, practicing something new, and that's always a good thing. Take one more breath. And then release. Lower down the knee, lower down the hand. Step your foot back. Lay all the way down onto your belly. Stack one hand on top of the other. Bend your knees. And then let your feet move side to side as you rest your forehead down onto your hands. Every time we step on our yoga mat is a beautiful opportunity to explore feelings, explore thoughts, explore things that come up for us as we find our edge, as we move through things that we may not be used to. And that's a good thing to practice. That awareness, the sitting with it. And then pause the movement with your legs. Let them be long once again. Hands underneath the shoulders, squeeze the elbows in, and then tuck the toes underneath you. The next time you inhale, press yourself up and back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward in between your hands. Exhale, start to walk all the way forward to the top of the mat, Uttanasana, and forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins or thighs. Find your halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, rise up to stand, all the way up, arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands come right down onto your heart. Release your arms out to the side, and we're going to go for our first balancing pose of this practice, which will be tree pose. So take a look at your feet right now. Make sure that you have a really clear foundation. So make sure that your feet is parallel with each other, and that you have at least your feet hip width distance apart. That will give you a good base to get started. And then your eyes, where you're looking at, your gaze, it's really, really important on balancing questions. If you've done the balancing class before, you probably have heard that already. But if that's your first time doing a balancing pose, know that. Where you look, it matters in balancing poses. So find a place to look at that is not moving. If you're looking at me, maybe you find a place here on, my space that is actually stable so that you can ground into that. And then start to lean your weight onto your left foot. Your right leg is going to come up, knee is going to rise closer to your belly. And then let your right knee opens out to the side. From here, we're going to find tree pose. So remember, your right foot can land anywhere onto your right leg, except for your knee. If that's where your foot lands, like, you say no thank you, and then you either lower it down or bring it up higher. There's no better or no worse. Your foot shouldn't be up or shouldn't be down. It should be where your foot can be at this moment. For me right now, it's going to be my heel in towards my ankle. And so once you find the space for your feet, you can inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. And then exhale, either bring the hands connected in front of your heart, or option to open your arms wide to the sides, let the palms face up, receiving all the benefits that yoga can bring to your life, making you a better person so that you can share all that goodness with yourself and with the people in your life. And take one more breath in here. There we go. Release. Arms down. Replant your right foot. Right away, going to the opposite side. So readjust your vision, your focus. Spread your bottom toes wide, and then start to bring your left knee into your chest. Hands can come to the hip, to the sides, wherever you feel that you have a sense of balance. And then start to open your left knee out to the side any amount, and find your Vrikshasana tree pose. If you move to the side of the mat just like me, walk back forward. And then inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands are going to come onto your hips. You start to send your right foot all the way back behind you until you plant your toes down. We're going to go into a crescent lunge. So your front knee is going to bend. Spike your back heel up. Take a breath in. Arms go up to the sky. There we go. Exhale, hands come to your heart or onto your knees. You're going to float forward into a warrior 3. Hands on the knees are going to give you more support in here, but remember your hands can come down to the floor. No problem at all in bending that left leg. But see if you can flex your floating foot. Imagine that you're trying to kick a wall or whatever you have behind you. Gather the strength onto the muscles of that right leg. All right, and then step your foot forward, come back to Tadasana, top of the mat. Whew, this is a tricky one. Take a full breath in here. Let it come out. All right, and then big step now with your left leg to the back of the mat. Bend your front knee, spike your back heel, inhale, reach up, crescent lunge. And then inhale, hands to heart or hands to your knee. As you start to float yourself forward, warrior 3. Once again, engage the muscles onto your left leg. Feel your inner thigh firing up in the direction of the sky. Every time you fall, you simply go right back to it. No big deal. Remember that. There's beauty in failing, letting yourself start over again. All right, and then start to rise. Step your left foot forward. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Exhale, Uttanasana as you fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana in Sanskrit. Exhale, plant your hands. Step your feet back. Find your version of a plank pose. With the exhalation, you start to hinge forward, bend the elbows lower, pull down. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, start to walk your hands closer to your knees. Press the floor away as you rise your torso. Legs are going to go forward in front of you, and we're going to start to cool things down. So scoop yourself to the middle of the mat. Come to lay down on your back and bring your knees in towards your belly and towards your chest. Start to hold your knees with your hands and find like circular movements with your knees in here. They can go in opposite directions, or if you want to maybe bring them around on the same way. It's optional. You choose. Maybe moving side to side, really feeling your low back grounded on the mat. That might feel really good. It feels really good for me, at least right now. And then let's find a happy baby pose. So let your knees open wide. Start to bring them as close as you can from the outsides of your body. And then kick your foot up to the sky in here. Keeping your shoulders connected down onto the mat, you're going to see where your hands can reach. If they can reach behind your legs, that's where they're going to land. If they can reach a little bit up higher with the shoulders still down, that's where they're going to reach. Perhaps they can reach to the outside of the feet. Whatever you can keep your low back grounded and your shoulders grounded down. And then let yourself sway side to side. And then release the legs long. Take a full body stretch, arms up and overhead. Point and flex your feet. Roll the ankles and the wrists around a little bit. And then pull your right knee in towards your belly. Give it a gentle squeeze in there. Take a breath in. With the exhalation, drag your right knee across and over to the left side. Open your right arm out to the side, palm facing up. Your left hand is holding on the outer right leg. Maybe sending your gaze towards your right side. Or if that feels a lot for the neck, you can look up or even to your left side. Notice your breath starting to calm down and use all this sensitivity that you've built within this practice to really honor yourself. Honor the fact that you took the time to be with yourself, to breathe, to practice a new skill. And that's a beautiful thing. And then from here, start to really bring your right knee back into the chest and then switch the legs. Right leg long, left knee pulls in. Give it that gentle squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, supine twist on the other side. So knee goes across to the right. Left arm is the one that's stretching out this time. Maybe right hand gently holding the outside of the left leg. Gaze goes to the left, up, or to the right. Check in with your neck, what's possible for you on this day. Knowing that we change minute by minute, moment by moment. Our bodies change. Nothing stays the same forever. Always remember that. And then from here, bring that left knee back into the center. Give yourself one final squeeze in here. So either hold the knees into the belly, or maybe even give yourself a big hug, even bringing the forehead towards the knees. Full breath in. And then exhale. You can start to find your Savasana. Let your arms and legs be long. Set yourself up for a real successful and yummy Savasana in here. So if you need to take a sip of water, if you need to get warmer, maybe get socks on or a blanket to cover yourself, maybe even cover your eyes with like a shirt or anything that you have around you right now. It can be a really good way to start to calm the nervous system so that you can receive the benefits of the practice. I've heard once, I can't remember where, that, when we move through all of the poses during a yoga practice, it's like as if we're putting all the ingredients into a soup. And Shavasana is when we're like simmering that soup. So now all the ingredients are in there, but we need that final piece of the practice so that we can really savor all the good things that we cultivated with it. And so this is your Shavasana right now. Moment for you to rest, to integrate everything that happened during practice today. And I'm going to suggest that you let yourself be here in Shavasana for at least 5 really deep, long breaths. But if you feel like you want to stay even longer, that's even better. So give yourself the time that you need. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me, for sharing this day, this time of your day with me. And I'll see you on the next class. Thank you. Peace. Namaste.